Hey Lon, hi folks, it's Lev. Welcome back to another video. For those of you who are new, I use he and pronouns. I just finished taking a shower and I decided to film a video. That's why my hair's wet. Little update. So yesterday I had a telehealth with my GP and he linked me in with a clinical psych who's gonna do a WPATH assessment for me. WPATH is the World Professional Association of Trans Health. Yes, and the reason why I'm seeing this clinical psych is because I need a letter to get top surgery, and the surgeon requires a letter from a clinical psych or a psychiatrist, and it's a 4 to 6 week wait. Welcome to trans people accessing services. Super long wait lines because there simply aren't enough services. So yeah, 4 to 8 weeks, I'll get started on my, I guess, WPATH assessment with the psych, and then yeah, we'll go from there with top surgery. But then I do have my consult booked in for April next year, so I have a while away. So just really getting things in early and done early, so that when it comes to time for top surgery, I have everything I need. Slightly off topic, but ever since I got my 4th testosterone injection, acne has been popping up again. Like, acne started dying down. I was like, yes, no acne, and then next injection, hormones, and then more acne, but that's okay. Today's video is sort of 2 parts. So the first part is just sharing a story of why I quit a volunteering role because of transphobia, and the second part is about my job hunting experiences and how I deadname myself out of fear, and the whole applying for jobs when my legal name is not Lev yet. First part. So I used to volunteer at a mental health organization doing online mental health support, and I was in this volunteering position long before I came out as trans. So I was in this position since the start of end of November 2018, and I came out as trans in like February 2020. So I've been in this role long before I came out as trans. It was like at the start of 2020, I think after I came out as trans. So I started asking, we had new people join our team, and usually when new people join our team, I send them a message saying, hey, I'm Lev, I introduced myself, I use him pronouns, what pronouns do you use? And I'm a very honest and transparent person, and so I told management, hey, I've just let you know that I messaged the new people on our team and I asked them for pronouns and introduced myself. Guess what happened? I was reprimanded by management for asking people on my own team for pronouns. Yes, that happened. Funny story, I never thought it would happen to me. Like, I've heard of transphobia in like volunteering places, workplaces and stuff, but I never thought it would happen to me. I was reprimanded by management for asking people on my team for pronouns, and it actually went up to the founder of the organization too, and she also reprimanded me for asking people for pronouns. So it's like the management and then the person at the very top of the chain also reprimanded me, and I got in trouble. And I tried to explain to management why I was doing what I was doing. Like, I asked for pronouns because I want to foster inclusive space. I don't want to misgender people because I've been misgendered before and it hurts. And asking for people for pronouns is just basic respect, really. Like, we don't assume people's names, so just asking for pronouns is just respect. And they didn't listen to me. They didn't even give me a chance. So it was email correspondence. It wasn't like phone correspondence or video correspondence. It was email correspondence. But I still got in trouble, and they basically shut me down without even listening to me, saying I'm wrong and you shouldn't do that, yada yada yada. And they didn't really give reasons why. They even said don't message the new people in our team, but they're people on my team. Like, I'm not like... Anyway, they didn't listen, and then I just grew sick of it, and then I decided to quit. It was actually the first time in my life I quit a volunteering position. I volunteered in many places throughout my life, It was the first time I voluntarily chose to quit, not because the contract ended, not because I had to take up other work and my plate was full. I quit because of transphobia. I quit. Straight up quit. I quit. And then afterwards, the founder, after I told her why I quit, she responded to my email saying, "You should have came to me and talked to me about it." And I'm thinking, my family have been really loud in the background and inconsiderate, so it gets really frustrating every time I try to film videos and they're just loud. Yeah, I quit. And she responded to my email saying, "You should have came and talked to me about it." I'm thinking, I fucking tried to talk to you about it and you wouldn't even listen to me. And now that I chose to quit, you decide to want to listen to me. It's too late. I'm not going back. You already treated me like this and the rest of management, so I'm like, fuck, I'm not staying here anymore. And then I left. That's the first story. Right, the second part of this video about my job hunting experiences. So I've never had paid work experience in my life. That's some context. I went to school, went to uni, graduated, did volunteering, but never had any paid work experience. And at the end of, I guess before the pandemic hit, I had also tried to find jobs and stuff. And then we were in lockdown the entire last year. I stopped trying for jobs. And then once things started reopening again, end of last year, I tried job hunting again. And for context as well, Lev is not my birth name. My birth name is completely something else. And I only started socially going by Lev in August of last year. And I got my legal name changed to Lev in March of this year. Just some context. So, and last year, at the end of last year, when I was applying for jobs, I deadnamed myself because I was scared that if I was successful in that position and they're like ID, and then because whenever I get a job somewhere, they usually check for ID, like ID checks, police checks, all of these things, and all of my ID was under my old name. And I was scared that if I went for the job as Lev, I have no legal ID, no legal documents to back up who I am. And they would question me, so, why you have a different name? And I didn't want to out, because this point I wasn't 100% confident in my identity yet. And this was before I went on testosterone and my voice wasn't like this whatsoever. It was a lot of different things, like things are different back then compared to now. Yeah, and I was scared if they find out, like, I didn't want to out myself as trans, be like, oh, my name is my birth name is this, and my name's actually Lev, but it's not legally changed to Lev yet. That's why the name's different on my CV and everything. Like, I didn't want to explain the entire story to people, and I was really scared, and that's why I deadnamed myself in all of my job applications, on my CV, in my interview. And when they called me, I got a few interviews, and when they called me, they're like, "Hi, dead name," and I'm just like, but it's not their fault because I put my dead name on my application and applied under my dead name. So, but it's tough. And I felt very dysphoric every time they called me. They're like, "Hi," and I'm just like, and then near the, I guess, March of this year, I'm just like, when I started applying for jobs as Lev in like March of this year, the job that I'm currently in was like the first or second job I applied as Lev and not my dead name. Even before my new ID and stuff got changed and my legal name got changed. When I applied for the job I'm currently in, I was in the process of changing my legal name, so I didn't even have all my ID and the Lev and stuff. But they were cool with it, so that's good. Yeah, when they called me for interviews and stuff, near the tail end when I started going by Lev, because so I have a worker who helped me with job applications and work stuff. It's a service they access a service where they help young people look for work. And then he's like, "Stop going by your dead name, just go by Lev." And then him giving me a pep talk was what made me have the confidence to go by Lev. But then, yeah, in all the past job applications, I wished, like near the tail end of it, I wished that I would just be unsuccessful, because being rejected is just less, it feels less heavy, and it was less uncomfortable than being called up and be like, hey, that name, we'd like to offer you an interview, and then going to the interview and saying, hi, and then they're just using my dead name over and over again. So I'm just like, I was wishing that I would be unsuccessful, because it's less painful than being dead named over and over again. But some of them I still had interviews, I was successful, and some I got rejected. But the job I'm currently in, yeah, it was just liberating when I first applied, when I first changed my CV name to Lev and not use my birth name, and applied for jobs as Lev, even though it was only like one or two, and employers calling me and be like, hey Lev, we'd like to offer you an interview, instead of, hey, dead name, we'd like to offer you an interview. It was just so different. And in the interviews where I was dead named and I went by my birth name, I performed significantly worse, because I was sitting there feeling so dysphoric that I've been called by my dead name without the employees didn't know. And I was just sitting there like, I'm so uncomfortable, like dysphoria, like I don't want to be called this name. Like I just did so much worse compared to that interview that I wasn't dead named. Yeah, just a bit more context. The worker who supported me said that if the employer really likes you and they want to hire you, this shouldn't be a problem. You going by Lev is not a problem if they genuinely like you as an applicant and want to hire you. And that's part of the pep talk he gave me. And yeah, the organization I'm currently in and my current job, they didn't care that my legal name wasn't Lev yet. They're like, they hired me, they called me Lev, and then once I got my ID changed, I gave them the ID as Lev. Like they were cool with it. It wasn't a problem for them, and they said that they didn't want this to stress me out because it's not a problem at all. Just adding to that, during the early interviews where with the applications where I applied using my dead name, at the end they usually ask, is there anything else you'd like us to know, or is there anything else you'd like to share? And then at the end of these interviews, I always say I'm trans. I always come out and see whether how they react, and whether the organization or the people at least are, or the interviewers at least, are transphobic or not. I don't think I've had a negative experience. Like they're all like, all of them that have come out to, they were all cool with it. And I actually also told them, so I actually got by Lev, and name is actually my dead name. I actually got by Lev. And I tell them at the end, but then, yeah, they were cool with it. But it's just a test, really. I like to test get an idea, essentially, gauge how transphobic certain organizations or the people in it are. Because for me, I cannot work at a transphobic workplace. I just can't. Like, I'd rather be jobless. Well, in my current situation, living at home and everything, I have a house, I'm living with my parents. Like, in my current living situation, I would rather be jobless than work in a transphobic environment. It's just, if I was in a situation where I had to work in order to survive because I was just supporting myself and everything. Disruptive family again. I just completely lost my train of thought. I remember now. So yeah, in my current living situation, it's feasible for me to not be working. So yeah, I just can't work in a transphobic environment, because in an environment where I can't be myself, I guess in general, if I can't be myself, speaking generally in life, if I can't be myself, be honest with myself, and I have to lie to myself or conceal my truth in order to be liked or be considered socially acceptable, or be accepted into this group or this organization, it just destroys me, and I can't fake that act. I just can't fake it. So it'll just destroy me, and I'll probably quit within the first week. So it's just, I have to be honest with myself, and I have to have people around me who see me for who I am and accept me. Otherwise, I just can't work in that environment. And just if I could go back in time, or present Lev giving younger Lev advice, it would be go by Lev, even if it's or your ID is not legally changed yet, even if your name's not legally changed yet to Lev. When you apply for work, when you apply for things, go by Lev, because if the employer genuinely likes you and wants to hire you, you being trans and you having chosen a name that is currently different from your legal name, it's not a problem for them. Don't put yourself in a situation where you dead name yourself over and over again because you're scared that they're gonna question you, because I guess your dysphoria is worse than any rejection there possibly is. Like, at least with you going by Lev and being rejected, you are staying true to you and you are honest with yourself, and deviating from yourself and being honest with yourself, I don't think there's anything that can hurt more than that. And job rejections are definitely not worse than you being dishonest with yourself out of fear. And right now, present Lev, I'm not scared of people rejecting me. I'm not really scared of people questioning me. I just live my truth, 100% honest and transparent, literally everywhere I go, not just at work, in life in general. And if someone doesn't like me or doesn't support me because I'm trans, that's fine. Thank you, next. It's just, it is what it is. I accept that there's people in this world who don't like trans people, have very unhelpful opinions, have very strong opposing attitudes, all of this stuff. I accept that. But yeah, it's just thank you, next, really. It's like, if you don't like me for me, we're not gonna be able to build a healthy connection anyway, and we're just gonna waste each other's time. So there is really no point in you sticking in my life and me sticking in your life. So thank you, next. I guess for all the trans and gender diverse folks out there, like, I want to say that yes, I guess living in this world as our truth, trans and gender diverse, being trans and gender diverse, it's not easy because the world we live in is not very affirming and kind towards us, and the systems in place are not very inclusive and friendly. And once again, kind towards us is usually really focused on the binary, is what I've noticed, and or terms such as male and female in use, and not gender. That's a completely different rant. Like, people say gender, but then they give biological sex options, and I'm thinking that is not gender, that is biological sex. Gender is not male and female. Gender is man, woman, non-binary, gender fluid, etc. A completely different rant, but it's not easy for us, and not just in terms of I guess having our gender recognized, our gender identity recognized. It's just, I guess we just have to fight for things that cis people already have automatically just because they're cis. And it's definitely not fair on us to have to do this all the time. Just fight everywhere we go in order to be seen for who we are, be acknowledged for who we are, be treated kindly, and have a safe and affirming space with, like, or just automatically having a safe and affirming space with where allies just know and get it. It's frustrating, but you're not alone, and I mean that it can feel very isolating when maybe you're the only one who you know in real life who's trans and gender diverse, or even online. But I'm telling you, you are not alone in this fight, and in just living in this world as a trans and gender diverse person in a cishet orientated world, you're definitely not alone, and I'm right here with you, fighting with you, in this battle with you. I'm bleeding as well. But yeah, thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you in the next video.